What is going on from Twins Picks? And in today's video, I'll be giving you guys my best bets for every Saturday game in the NHL. I will also give you guys some player prop opinions. I don't see any lines out right now, but as of right now, I'm just going to go over every single game, look at the trends, and just give some advice so you guys can make the most out of your bankroll. So with that being said, the first game that we have on the slate, we got the St. Louis Blues taking on the Detroit Red Wings. As you can see, the St. Louis Blues on the ticker plus 120, the Detroit Red Wings at minus 140, the over under 6.5, both minus 110 in a pick 'em. Now, let's be honest here. The St. Louis Blues, they're coming off a really, really impressive win against the New York Islanders. They won 4-0 the other night. In their last 10 games, if you put them on the money line, you would have made $435. They've been a very profitable team in the last 10 games. You look at the Detroit Red Wings, coming off a 2-1 win in overtime against the Avalanche and a 4-3 overtime win against the Seattle Kraken. They're playing really well. They've won 3 in a row. They also stomped Calgary 5-0 3 games ago. I really like the momentum here with this Detroit team. They're 5-5 to the over/under. So the over/under to me, kind of, I wouldn't touch in this game. If I did have to make a play here, it's probably the Detroit Red Wings. I just think this has been the more consistent team. But you look at the head-to-head matchups in the last 4 games, they've split it 2-2. The last time they played, the Red Wings won 6-4, and that was this season. And the Detroit Red Wings were the underdog. So the underdog has actually won in this matchup in 3 straight games. But just looking at how good the Detroit Red Wings are playing right now, I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Detroit Red Wings on the money line in this game. Minus 140 is not too bad. And Alex Lyon, his form right now is really, really good. So for this game, if I really had to pick, it's probably the Detroit Red Wings, but knowing the inconsistencies with both teams, I might have to stay away. The next game we got here is the Montreal Canadiens at plus 195 and the New Jersey Devils at minus 240. The over-under 6.5, and it's favored to go over at minus 120 odds. Listen, New Jersey should not be a minus 220 favorite right now. They're just not playing good hockey, in my opinion. You're looking at this Devils team. They're really bad in goal with Nico Daws and Vanacek, and without Dougie Hamilton and some of the other defensemen. This is just a tough team to really get a gauge on. They're 28, 24, and 3, whereas the Montreal Canadiens are 22, 27. Again, yeah, like the I don't know this game. I mean, the Devils are 6-4 head to head against Montreal in the last 10. The over has hit in 6 of the last 10. The last time these two teams meet was literally January 17th, and the Montreal Canadiens won 3-2. And just looking at the Montreal Canadiens in their last 10, coming off 4 straight losses, they lost 7-4 to the Rangers, 4-3 to the Capitals, 3-2 to the Sabres, and 4-1 to Pittsburgh. Now you could say this might be a really good get 'em spot here from Montreal. It's got insane juice at plus 195. But make no mistake about it, the goaltending has been a problem. Their next 3 games are against Arizona, Florida, Tampa, so they don't even have the easiest schedule, Montreal. And it looks like if I had to make a prediction, Primo played last game. Montembeault's probably going to go in net here. And in Montembeault's last 2 starts, he's had an 870 and a 774 save. So it's not the greatest for Montreal. On the other hand, for the New Jersey Devils, like I said, the goaltending has just not been good. The over under 6.5, minus 120 for the over, I like in this game. But you don't really know how Montreal's offense is going to be because they kind of run on one line with Slav, Caulfield, Suzuki. That line's been great, but Montreal is just a head scratcher for me. The value obviously is if you have to take something here, I think if you really think that Montreal is as bad as they are, take the minus 1.5 at plus 105 for the New Jersey Devils. I would also probably take a Jack Hughes goal and probably even sprinkle, this might sound crazy, an Andre Palat goal. So, but New Jersey, like in the last 5 games, they've only won 2. They beat the Predators, which again is not the greatest competition, and they beat Philly 6-3 in the Stadium Series. After that, they've lost 2 straight. They lost 6-2 to the Caps and 5-1 to the New York Rangers. They've allowed 11 goals in the last 2 games. The defense is just putrid here. So for me, the best play in this game, I think, is the over 6.5 at -120. And we got to keep it rolling here. The next game we have is Tampa Bay Lightning and the New York Islanders in a pick'em, -110 for both teams. To me, this is a very intriguing matchup because I did bet on the Islanders to beat the Penguins, and they were up 4-2 in the third, and they allowed 2 goals in 50-something seconds. Patrick Waugh, I don't think he has a gauge right now on this team. I don't think a lot of people do. All I know is Matt Barzal's having a great season, which is great to see. You're looking at the Islanders, they have a 13-7-9 home record, whereas the Lightning have a 12-15-2 record on the road. In the last 2 games in this matchup, the Islanders are outscoring the Lightning 12-3. So, I mean, yes, Tampa Bay has not been good. I bet on them in the Tampa Florida game. They lost 9-2. It doesn't look good, but you're looking here. Vasilevsky in his last 4 games has been bad, very, very bad. The goaltending in the last 5 has a 367 goals against and an 814 save. That's not going to win you a lot of hockey games. And as a matter of fact, with those stats, they've won 2 of those 5 games, which is insane. But again, you're looking here at the Tampa Bay Lightning. In their last 3 games, they've lost 3 straight. 5-3 to Washington, 4-2 to Ottawa, and 9-2 to Florida. But before that, they were looking impressive. They were going off back-to-back wins against Colorado and Boston. So to me, this is a game where, just looking at how the defense has been so far for the Islanders, I think I might have to just take a gamble here with the Tampa Bay Lightning where they end their slump. -110, I think, is really good odds. We all know Tampa is the better team of the 2 when they're both on. So I really do like the Tampa Bay Lightning here. And if you guys really do want to take a player prop, I would probably go ahead and take Nikita Kucherov's point total. I would probably play that to about -120, -130 at the most. Again, Kucherov point totals, guys, it's not at a half, it's at 1.5. Take that at -130 and run with it. So my best bet in this one is the Tampa Bay Lightning money line. The next game we have here is the New York Rangers and the Philadelphia Flyers. We see the Flyers at home taking on the Rangers, and the Flyers are actually home dogs, +115. The Rangers -135 odds. To me, this is a game, again, there's value here on the Philadelphia Flyers. The Flyers have been a team that has overachieved tremendously this year. I don't know if you want to go against this Rangers team right now. They've won, like 8 in a row, some stupid like that. But you're looking here at the under. I think this might be the play. It's gone under in 8 of the last 10 games, and it's gone under in 2 straight. We saw March 1st, 2023, the Rangers won 3-2 in overtime, and then we saw November 24th, 2023, we saw 3-1 Rangers in that one. But let's look at the Rangers winning streak. So since the All-Star break, they have not lost a game coming back. They beat Colorado, Tampa, Chicago, Calgary, Montreal, New York Islanders, Dallas, New Jersey. I'd say 5 of those 8 wins are against good teams. And make no mistake about it, right now this team might be the best in the league. You're getting consistent goaltending from Shesterkin and Jonathan Quick. Again, Shesterkin has started in 4 of the last 5, and the goaltending tandem has a 220 goals against and a 944 save. Right now, you're just not beating the goaltending. Trouba is an absolute animal. The power play for the Rangers is solid. So for me, I mean, Philadelphia's goaltending hasn't been too bad either. Sam Erson's coming off a really good game, a 955 save, but then he got shelled against the Devils, and then he lost a tough one against the Leafs. So obviously the goaltending matchup, it favors the Rangers. I think the goal scoring ability favors the Rangers. And the Rangers on the road are 18-9-3 this season. So I really do like the New York Rangers here on the money line at -135. If you don't like that because it's at -135 and you want a little more, I would probably lean the under 6 goals just because of how great Shesterkin is playing. And in order for Philadelphia to win this game, they're going to have to be physical. It is a divisional game, and I think that this one can go under the total. So I'll lean the Rangers on the money line to win, but I think if I had to make a play, it's under 6 in this game between the Rangers and the Philadelphia Flyers. The next game that we have on the slate is the Capitals and the Florida Panthers. Wow, man. Florida is insane right now. This is a team, they're coming off a tough 1-0 loss, but they look like the Florida Panthers from the playoffs last year. They're just going to bully you. They're a very good team, tough to beat. And again, Florida 9-1 in the last 10. The last time they lost was last game, and it was by 1 goal. But in the head-to-head, Florida's 8-2 in the last 10. But in the head-to-head, they're 9-1 in the last 10. Florida has absolutely dominated Washington in the head-to-head matchup. They've actually won. They've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They've won 8 straight against the Washington Capitals, dating back. The last time they lost was May 7th of 2022, and again they've played twice this year. The Panthers won in overtime 4-3 in Washington, and then they won 4-2 at home. The over has hit in 6 of the last 10 matchups. In the last 5, the over has hit in 3, and it has gone under once and pushed once. But you're looking at Washington here. This is a tricky team right now. They're coming off 3 straight wins. They beat Montreal, New Jersey, and Tampa Bay. And before that, they even beat Boston February 10th. This is a team that I think is overachieving right now. They're 7-2-1 in the over in the last 10, and they're getting pretty good goaltending. And you look at Florida, there's 2-7-1 to the under in the last 10. So this is a game where you look at how much value is on the Florida Panthers at -220, and it's just a lot here. If Florida's going to win this game, it's going to go under 6 at over under 6.5 at -120. I think that's the play right now. But if you like the Florida Panthers -1.5 at like +105 or +110, you probably are solid at doing that as well. You're looking at the next 3 games for Florida. It's Buffalo, Montreal, Detroit. People talk about it being like a down spot. I don't see this one being a down spot. I can see maybe Florida losing to a Buffalo, losing to a Montreal, having their guard up. But against the Caps have something to prove. They're going to go hard here. I'm probably going to take the under 6.5 at -120 just because Bobrovsky has just been a freak of nature in his last 5. He has a .952 save, a 140 goals against. And I also like the team total under for the Capitals. If it's at 2.5, if it's at about -140, something like that, I would play that as well. So for this game, the under 6.5, and I would also go the under team total for the Washington Capitals as my best plays of this game. Next up we got is the Boston Bruins taking on the Vancouver Canucks. The Bruins actually underdogs at -105, and the Vancouver Canucks are favorites at -115 here. We see that the over-under is at 6, and it's actually favored to go under in this game. You're looking here at the Vancouver Canucks coming off a really bad performance against Seattle. Yes, they were on the road. Yes, they did look really tired, but this is a team where evenly matched up in the last 10 games, 5-5. The record, the over is hit in 4 of the last 10 in the head-to-head matchups. But the Bruins have won 3 straight, dating back to December 8th, 2021 was the last time the Vancouver Canucks were successful at beating the Boston Bruins. The Boston Bruins are a team right now. They're at -105. I think to me this is the play for sure. Boston looked amazing against the Edmonton Oilers, and they were coming off, I think, a 3-game losing streak. They came in, they proved that their offense was not necessarily dried up, just on a little bit of a slump. This is a team that is absolutely scary. They're coming off. They actually lost to Calgary last game. I completely forgot about that in overtime. Beat Edmonton 6-5 in overtime. Beat Dallas in the shootout, and then lost 5-4 to the Kings in overtime. So 4 straight games they've gone to overtime. Maybe that's why they're underdogs. Maybe people think they're too tired. Vancouver is coming off, like I said, a terrible loss to Seattle, a terrible loss to Colorado, a terrible loss to Minnesota, and a loss to the Winnipeg Jets. They've lost 4 straight games. The Vancouver Canucks, yes, they are in first place. Their next 3 games are Pittsburgh, LA, Anaheim. Probably going to win all 3, if not 2 of those games. The Bruins have had bad goaltending in the last 5, and so has Vancouver. What does this mean? I believe this is going to go over 6 goals at -105. What we've seen from the Boston Bruins is whenever they're down 1, they usually tend to come back, and they do have David Pastrnak. So for this game, I like the over 6 goals. I like the Boston Bruins to win at -105. I don't know why they're underdogs in this spot. They are the better team, in my opinion. They're a team you can rely on more in these spots. And I'll also sprinkle the David Pastrnak goal. I think I saw it on FanDuel at about -110. I'll take David Pastrnak to score against Thatcher Demko, as he did not look good last game. And if it's Casey DeSmith, don't be surprised if the over by tomorrow is at 7. So over 6 in this one, and the Bruins to win. We got to keep it rolling, boys. We got the Leafs and the Colorado Avalanche. The Toronto Maple Leafs actually at +100. The Avalanche at -120. The over-under 6.5. It is heavily favored to go over 6.5, -140 to the under 6.5 at +120. Now, this is a team in Toronto that is just scorching hot at the moment. They are scoring at a rampant pace. They're getting secondary scoring from Domi, Holmberg, Nyes. Bobby McMann is starting to look like a top 6 forward. And we're actually getting pretty good performances as well from Nick Robertson. So I don't know what's happened with this Leaf team since the suspension. They've just been probably the hottest team in the league. I'd say it's between them, the Rangers, and the Panthers. These are 3 teams that are just absolutely on tears right now. And this is a team in the Colorado Avalanche at -120. I think it's fair value. It depends who starts. If Georgiev's in net, I think this is fair. McKinnon has absolutely torched the Leafs every time he's played them. If this goes under, I would not be surprised. I think both teams treat this game like a playoff game. But I really like the Toronto Maple Leafs here at +100. Like, just the way they're playing right now, and you're getting plus money on this is insane. I would think this would be a flip 'em, like a -110 on both sides, like the Lightning and Islanders game is. But I think if as long as Ilya Samsonov is in net, I think this is a team where the Leafs have a chance to win for sure. And again, they're 17-6-6 on the road. The Avalanche are 22-5 at home, which is incredible. But I just like the chances. The only reason being, the Avs have won 2 straight against the Leafs. They won 5-3 this season, and last year they won 2-1. And the Leafs, again, like I mentioned, 8-2 in their last 10. 6 times it has gone over. In the last 4 games, they won 9-2 against Anaheim, 4-2 against the Blues, 6-3 against Arizona, and 7-3 against the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, if you think about it, those last 4 games, the competition is not that good. I mean, Vegas, you could say what you want about them, but, you don't have Jack Eichel, you didn't have Mark Stone, Aiden Hill didn't play well. The Vegas team is also looking depleted. So I get it with the books having the Avs as favorites, but I'm just going to go ahead and take the Toronto Maple Leafs here at +100. Just the way they're playing, I got to take them. It's too good to pass up here. Then we got the Vegas Golden Knights. Speaking of them, taking on the Ottawa Senators. The Golden Knights are actually underdogs here at +100 after getting the brakes beat to them by the Leafs. I honestly think this is fair just by looking at how Ottawa just is coming off a win against the Dallas Stars. I think this is a team that's really good, but here's the thing. Vegas 9-1 against the Ottawa Senators in the last 10. They've absolutely killed the Senators in the head-to-head matchup category. Last time they played, it was December 17th this season. Vegas won 6-3, and they were -181 favorites here. So the script is completely flipped here with the Sens being favorites. But yeah, Vegas is coming off 2 straight losses where they've lost 5-3 to Nashville, a team that they should beat, and they lost 7-3 at home to the Toronto Maple Leafs. You're looking here at the Ottawa Senators, on the other hand, 6-3-1 in their last 10 games. They're coming off a nice 4-1 win. They also, their last 3 games, they've been amazing. They beat the Lightning 4-2. They lost to the Florida Panthers in overtime in Florida, by the way. And then they beat Dallas at home. I think right now, just the way we're seeing the goaltending with the Vegas Golden Knights is starting to crumble. Logan Thompson and Aiden Hill are not looking too good or in form. I like the over 6.5 at -135. I think just Ottawa is finding their offense right now. Timmy Stützle, Josh Norris, Batherson, Brady Tkachuk, these guys can bring it. Even Claude Giroux. I really do like Brady Tkachuk over his shot prop. I like Brady Tkachuk to score, and I like a Claude Giroux assist as well in this game. But for me, the best bet here is probably the over 6.5. And if you really want to parlay it, I'd probably make a parlay Ottawa Senators to win, and I'd go with an alt over of 5.5. That would probably put it at about +120. So those are my plays for this game. But I really like how the books have kind of watched Ottawa, and it is surprising to see them as favorites, but I think they are deserving in the spot. We go to the game I think I'm most looking forward to on this slate. We got Dallas and the Carolina Hurricanes. As you can see on the ticker, the Dallas Stars are actually underdogs at +115. Carolina coming off a 1-0 win. Kochetkov, absolutely outstanding game. I believe he had 40 saves. This is a team where Carolina, usually when they're at home, and they are in this game against Dallas, they like to go under games. And yes, Dallas has a really potent offense. They're 17-8-5 on the road this year, whereas Carolina Hurricanes are 19-6-4 at home. These are two teams that are just have phenomenal records. You look at the last 10 games, 5-5. Looking at the last three, Carolina winning 2 of those 3 games, and both those wins for Carolina were in overtime. But Dallas this season won their matchup February 13th, a couple days ago, 4-2, and Dallas was the favorite there. So Dallas, again, they're coming off 4 straight losses after being one of the hotter teams. I think before that they won, I think it was 5 of the last 6. Now they're on a 4-game losing streak, getting points in 2 of them against the Edmonton Oilers and the Bruins. But I think this loss to the Ottawa Senators really shakes them here. I really like the value on Dallas here at +115. I think just the way that the Florida Panthers played Carolina, it's a physical game. And when Florida and Carolina are going at it, every game to me feels like a playoff game. And I think that should be the case when it is starting to come down to February and March hockey. These contenders, they're going to come at you hard. And I think, honestly, Carolina might be a little banged up coming into this game. I think the Dallas Stars are hungry. They have a very potent offense. And again, just looking at the goaltending here, Ottinger is probably going to start. I take Ottinger over Martin or Kochetkov in a one-on-one matchup. So I think they have the advantage in net. I think the defense has been really, really solid overall for Carolina, as they always are. But I got to go with the Dallas Stars here. There's too much value here. They've lost 4 straight. I think this is a bounce-back spot for them. And like I said, I think Carolina's a little banged up from that Florida game. So I'm going to take the Dallas Stars here on the money line at +115. Next up we got here is the Anaheim Ducks taking on the LA Kings. And to me, this is a game where I basically have I don't really know what to say anymore with this LA team. When they're at -270, that's absolutely insane. At this point, just sprinkle the Anaheim Ducks at +220. It's blasphemy, honestly. I think the under is the play at -110, just because when the Kings do win, it's like a 3-1 game. Drew Doughty will get like 9 hits. He'll bully the shit out of you. But here's the Kings are 10-6 at home, and they're getting a -270. That is where you just got to take the Ducks at +220. With a record like that at home, Ducks are 12-15-1 on the road, and I just think too much value here on Anaheim. Anaheim, I mean, like they lost, they lost 9-2 to Toronto, then they beat Buffalo 4-3, then they lose 7-4 to Columbus. So this team is like a freaking dumpster fire at times, but at times they'll surprise. And like I said, Kings 10-6 at home, and you're -270. That just doesn't add up. So I'm just going to go with the under 6 here for this game in the Ducks and Kings. I just think this is going to be like a 3-1 bore, or it's going to be a 6-5. But if I had to make a prediction, under 6 is a really good shout here in this Anaheim-LA game. Next up, we got Battle of Alberta, Calgary, Edmonton. Of course, it's on a Saturday night. It has to be. It's appropriate. The Calgary Flames opening at plus 165, the Oilers at minus 200, the over-under at 6.5, minus 120. So it's favored to go over here. This to me is a tough one. This is a game where I love Edmonton. I think this is a team that's had a phenomenal turnaround, obviously, with the head coaching change and all that. Right now, they're currently losing to Minnesota 4-2 at the moment. But for me, I just the trend and Edmonton is 8-2 against the Flames in the last 10. The under has hit in 3 of the last 4 games, whereas last year, remember that game we saw, I think it was like 8-5. That was insane, but I mean, Calgary is playing really well. Last 2, they beat Winnipeg and Boston, so they're on a roll right now. The Edmonton Oilers, not so much. Hot and cold, yeah. They're coming off a 6-3 win against Arizona. Yeah, they're coming off a win against Dallas, but then they allow 6 goals against the Bruins, and then they lose tonight 4-2. So losing in back-to-back games as heavy favorites is not a good look for Edmonton. I do think McDavid scores in this game for sure. If you can get it at like a plus 100 or a minus 110, I would definitely put a unit on McDavid to score, as he always shines in these games again in the Battle of Alberta. I do like just the way that Markstrom's been playing, and I think Stuart Skinner's a guy that can bounce back for sure. They did play Picker tonight. Markstrom has okay, like last 3 games he's been a little bit beaten up. I mean, they got slaughtered to Detroit 5-0, but then they beat Winnipeg. He had a 903 save, and then amazing against the Bruins, a 941. So if Markstrom can play as well as he has in the last month, and just I think a bounce back spot is imminent for Stuart Skinner, I'll actually go with the under 6.5 at plus 100, and I'll take Connor McDavid to score, and I'll play that as low as minus 115, minus 120. Up next, we have Minnesota Wild and the Seattle Kraken. These 2 teams, I don't have a gauge looking at how they've played tonight. I got to go with Minnesota at plus money. This is insane to me at plus 115. We all know Seattle is fraud. I think they're fraudulent, honestly. They're coming off a win against the Vancouver Canucks. Vancouver looked terrible in that game. And again, if Seattle's going to beat you, they're going to do kind of like what the Kings do, and it's going to go under. So under 6 at minus 110 is good if you don't really trust Minnesota on a back-to-back. I think Fleury's going to play tomorrow. The question is with unders with both these sides is just you're looking at the goaltending, and it's like you just have no idea. Like Decord, I think, has outplayed Grubauer this year, and I think obviously Fleury has outplayed Gustafsson has had the biggest drop off, I think, of any goalie. Him and Vanacek have been bad, even Vasi, but he's coming off a terrible injury, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, to me, this is a tough one. I'm probably going to take the under 6 here, and I'm just going to be terrified when it goes in the third period and it's like 3-2 and I'm just begging for it to push or just for no one else to score. So I'm going to go ahead and take the under 6 here. I'll also take Minnesota, as I do think they are the better team. And yes, they just beat Edmonton tonight. I think this is a spot where the Minnesota Wild get it done against Seattle, a team that's just not good. I don't think they're good. So to be a minus 135, you have to be good. I don't think they're good at all. And then the last game on the slate that I'm going to be talking about, why even talk about it? Just take Parlay. Philip Forsberg, he had a point. And whoever the center is, probably Gustav Nyquist. You'll probably take, I don't know, like a Cody Glass point. This is a ruckus game. Nashville's going to win. Maybe parlay Forsberg and Roman Josi with a point. That's probably going to get you some plus money there. The over 6 for me is a lock. I think Nashville over their team total. If it's at 3.5, I would even take the over. That would probably be at a good value, maybe like plus 105 if the books want to be generous. But just the Sharks at plus 185. If people are taking that, they're out of their mind. The Sharks are just absolutely done. They're toast. They're trying to get Celebrini, a guy that I think grew up in San Jose. I don't know what to say about the Sharks. This is a team that's just so bad. Nashville at minus 225, like I mentioned, with the Devils, just the way that they're playing, they don't really. The value is awful on the Predators at minus 225. So even if you took it at what in regulation, that's like minus 145. That's still not good enough for me. So if you really want to be adventurous and do a parlay here, take Nashville to win, take Forsberg and Josi to get points. That's probably a good plus money parlay. But other than that, that's probably what I'm taking in this game. I'm gonna maybe make a little point parlay. Forsberg, Josi, I like, and if the value is there, he's been red hot recently. Luca Evangelista to get a point as well. I think that's a good shout. I think he's on the second power play unit, maybe even creeping first, and he's on the second line. But that is it for these games, guys. I mean, Saturdays are for hockey. Let's be honest. Make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe. I'm going to start doing these every single Saturday, going through every single game, giving you guys my opinions, my picks. And that's it for this week. So let's see what we do tomorrow. I will also put the record out after this Saturday. And I'm just going to keep it real with you. So with that being said, signing out. Peace.